All right, hello everyone. Thank you for your patience. Before I present our wonderful speaker, Jason, just want to uh, inform you about a change in track two. Laura Byrne will be doing a talk on indispensable Gutenberg blocks and where to find them. If you wanted to attend that, just to let you know. We have Jason coming up, speaking on using advanced custom fields to create custom blocks. So without further ado, here is Jason.
All right, how's everybody doing today? Good. All right, good. This is fantastic, right? We're back in person, all that good stuff. I got a ton of stickers for my laptop. I'm very excited about. All right, so I'm going to be giving a talk about using advanced custom fields to create custom blocks. My name is Jason Lawton. I'm a WordPress developer. I can go to the next slide because that's about who I am. So again, my name is Jason Lawton. I'm a kind of specialize at my day job WordPress ecosystem don't necessarily fit the needs that our clients have. All right, what are we going to cover? We're going to talk about why we want to create a block using advanced custom fields, what we're going to accomplish in this talk. We're going to cover creating a child theme, block registration, creating the block in advanced custom fields, block template coding. It's just going to be pictures of coding. We're not going to do any real coding. I mean, it's real code, but you know what I mean. We're using the block in the editor, in the backend editor, and then we're going to have a demo of the final result. So what are blocks? I mean, you know, this is WordPress. WordPress 5.0 introduced blocks, so we are all kind of dealing with blocks for better and worse, right? And so blocks, just in case you don't know, blocks are the way in which WordPress organizes content inside your blog posts or pages. You know, so like with the now called the classic editor, you just kind of throw everything in there. You know, paragraph tags, images, tables. It's all kind of just like presented in one column. Whereas now, if you are on the Gutenberg bandwagon, everything is a block. You know, you drag the heading block, you drag the image block, the paragraph block, and so on and so forth. So why would you want to create a block using advanced custom fields? So just in case, again, in case you don't know, the kind of like official way to create custom blocks is using JavaScript and PHP, and the block is like it's a React app. You know, React, the JavaScript library or framework, whatever you want to call it. So if you don't want to use that, like me, then there are other options for you, like using advanced custom fields. And you know, like I want to use advanced custom fields because I love advanced custom fields. I use it every day. I know how to use it, and it's damn fine software. Am I allowed to say that? Anyway, so you have a good knowledge of PHP, but are not strong in JavaScript. Like I said, if you don't know React or you don't want to learn React, you maybe use Vue.js or Svelte or Alpine or whatever new JavaScript framework has come out today. If you are good with PHP, then you can do almost maybe not everything, but you can get a lot done with just PHP and advanced custom fields. And then again, creating a custom block in general, you have an idea for the layout of your site, but you can't find the right block or the combination of blocks or block patterns. I think I honestly made this presentation before block patterns were like a thing. So the examples I have are kind of contrived, but they're good and easy for a demo. So that's what we're going to do. What are we going to make? So we're gonna make three custom blocks. The first one that we're gonna make is I'm calling a split image block. It's going to have a title, an image, a subtitle, content, and a call to action. And it is going to look like this. This is like amazing, by the way. Not the block, like the screen. The screen is amazing. This is great. I'm sorry. I love it. Okay. Anyway. What else are we going to make? We're going to make a latest posts block, which is going to look like this. And it's kind of expanding on the split image block, which is at the top half. But I have additional fields in the advanced custom field form, which we'll get to, obviously, that lets you pull in posts from a category. So you can pull in some number of posts from a specific category that you define. And what else? We're going to make the classic a slider block or a carousel, whatever you want to call it. And again, this is it's just going to be using the advanced custom field gallery type, and then it's going to use I'm going to use some additional JavaScript to turn it into a slider, and then when you click on the image, it will open in a modal. And so it's a little bit more advanced, but like not really, which you'll see. And this is what it looks like. So how are we going to make them? With anytime you're doing anything with WordPress, like you should be creating a child theme. It's kind of common knowledge, but it should also be common knowledge, so I just mention it just for the sake of please make a child theme if you're ever editing your theme. We're going to add PHP code to the functions.php file in that child theme, and that will register the ACF block. Then in the WordPress backend, we are going to set up the fields for the block. And then the way blocks work with advanced custom fields is you make the form in the WordPress backend, but then you make a template in PHP in the file structure of the theme. And I'll show you that, obviously. And then we'll view it on the back end to populate it with data, and then we'll look at it on the front end to make sure it all works. The other option for doing this, like I'm talking about doing it in the theme, the other option for doing this is to make it in a custom plugin that you could do all the same stuff that I'm doing in the functions.php in the custom plugin. I just tend to do it in the theme because for me personally, the work that I usually do is kind of tightly tied to that theme, for better and worse. I mean, you can do it either way, whatever you want to do. All right, so creating a child theme. We're gonna make a child theme from the 2021 theme in this demo. These are two fantastic plugins. Honestly, the child theme generator is like my favorite icon. for any plugin. I love it. So good. But honestly, I use the top one because it works a little better anyway. So just make a child theme, click the buttons to do it, and you'll be good to go. So then the next step that we're going to do, we're going to edit the functions.php file in that child theme. We'll show that in a slide or two. And then you're going to add this code. You don't have to type that or take a picture. The slides will be available on GitHub after the presentation. But basically, you just put this code in there, and then what you can do, let me talk about the certain things, sorry. Let me read my notes. So the name parameter, that's the name of the block that you're going to be creating. It's what's shown in the Gutenberg editor on the back end. No, I'm lying, I'm sorry. The name is the thing that's used in the back end for code. The title is the title of the block that will appear in the Gutenberg editor. The description is just a short description that will appear when you hover over it to select that block. The render template, this refers to the file that's going to be used to render the block, the data that you populate in the Gutenberg editor. The render template renders that data. The category, there are different categories in the Gutenberg editor. When you pop out that window to show things, there are common formatting, layout, widgets, and embeds. So you could either put it in one of those or make your own, I guess. You can add an icon, obviously, and so that will show up in the Gutenberg editor. And then keywords. So this is cool. Like in the Gutenberg editor, there's that search box at the top. And so you can add certain keywords. So when people are typing something, like let's say you're making, as we're going to make, the carousel block. Like, someone might not know to call it carousel because that's kind of like a technical term for it, right? They might call it gallery, they might call it slider, they might call it carousel. Maybe they'll call it carousel and spell it incorrectly. So you can put all those words in there in the keywords array, and that will help surface it for searching. So we're going to create the block in Advanced Custom Fields. So now that we've registered the block in the functions.php file, we're going to go into the backend of Advanced Custom Fields, and we're going. And this is like, if you've used Advanced Custom Fields before, this is where you're going to, like, this is your comfort zone. Like, this is how you've used Advanced Custom Fields in the past. And so to me, like, this is the biggest change and the advantage in using blocks, because previously with Advanced Custom Fields, it would just put that meta box at the bottom of the page, and you would just have to fill it out. And you didn't really have a lot of control over how many times it was used or where it was used, unless you knew how to edit the page template, right? And if you're not a coder, or just enough code to get by, it's like it can be problematic to do that stuff. So using blocks, you can register the block with that pretty simple script, and then this lets you kind of place it wherever you want. Okay. So creating the block in ACF, like, this is what you would normally see, the image, title, subtitle, et cetera, et cetera. And then down at the bottom, underneath those fields, when it says, show, what you normally put in is you say, like, oh, show this block, or show this form when you're looking at a post, or when you're looking at a page that's equal to about us, or something like that. This will so here what we're doing is show this field group if it's a block, and the block name is equal to split image block. So I'm going to talk about, in a little bit more detail, about the ACF register block type method. And so, can you read that? Oh, you can read that, wow. So this is the render template line. This is pointing to the path in your theme of, like, what file to use to display the code. And we'll talk about that in a second. And then the Enqueue Styles. So this is telling the block what style sheet to use for this block. I guess you could skip this step if you have your styles, in like, the style.css file or somewhere else. But like, kind of the idea with blocks is kind of to encapsulate all of that data into that one thing. So you want your template there, you want your styles there, like, you want it all in that one block. And so this is the what is this? The folder structure? Can't think. And so again, this is inside the WP content folder. And then in there we have 2021 child. And then in there we have template parts. And then there we have blocks. And then in there we have split image. And then finally, the template name that we're using for the split image block is split image. This is like super verbose, but like this is how they kind of tell you to do it in all the documentation. So it's like a best practice, and it will honestly probably save you a headache later on if you just follow this way, which is how I feel about most best practices. So this is the template that we're using for the split block, and you can see it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy, right? Like the second line, we're saying get me all the fields, put it in a variable called ACF fields. And then in the Gutenberg editor, there's like a little drop down that lets you choose how wide you want the block, right? So it can be like wide or extra wide or right or left or whatever. And so that second line gets that data. And then I can't see my mouse. I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. So here, I'm just adding the align class to here. And then this stuff, I'm just spitting out the title, subtitle, and content from the Advanced Custom Fields array that we're getting at the top. And then, and so it's not going to look like this. So all right. So we've done the work to register the block. We've done the work to set up the template for the block. And then when we want to go and use the block, it will look like this little empty blue rectangle, right? And you're like, well, that's super annoying because I did all that work and I don't see anything. And so what you want to do, you click on that little pencil icon and you click switch to edit. And what will happen is it will look like this. So now it's showing you the advanced custom fields form in that block. And so then you can fill it out. So now we're going to get back to block registration. Okay, so to get around this little empty rectangle, you can set an option called mode, and you set it equal to edit, and then it will kind of always be that form in the back end. And then you get something that looks like this, and it's beautiful. And so it should look like this in the back end and in the front end. You can see there's a little difference with the CSS. That could be something I did. Sorry. So moving on to the next one. So we're going to talk about the latest posts block. And again, this is just building on the split image block that we just made. So I'm going to skip the split image part of it. And we're just going to be adding the last bullet where it says a list of posts from post of a certain content type. And we're going to allow the user to specify how many posts, and we're going to allow them to specify a category for where those posts come from. This is the code for it. Not much has changed except for the render template. It's now template parts, blocks, latest posts / latest posts.php, and then the same thing for the CSS. It's just going to a different folder in that template parts folder. And then this is kind of unreadable. No, you can read it. So the two new things at the bottom are the number of posts, which is a number, and then the post category, which is just a post category dropdown. Now here we have, what are we doing here? We're getting the posts for a post type. Right, okay, so I'm sorry. I read this far in my notes, I swear. So I'm going to say, what am I doing here? Sorry. We're getting posts, and then we're going to say get the number of posts per page, and then get what category they're in. And then what we're doing is we're doing a new WP query with those arguments. All right, makes sense. And then in the template, it's basically going to use the same code from the split image view, but then this extra stuff at the bottom, where it says if there are latest posts, then let's loop over them and show them. And in the editing field, these are the two extra fields that we've added, where I'm saying show three posts, and then do the post category is set to food or something. And so then it would look like this, where the top part is that split image category, and then the bottom part is the 3 posts from the food category. Sorry. Okay, so then the last block that I'm going to talk about is the slider block. And so again, this is just using the advanced custom fields gallery to display a number of images in a carousel that you can go backwards and forwards on. And then when you click on it, it will open in a modal. And so this here is a little harder to read. But basically all that we're doing extra here is, so here, obviously we are changing the folder to slider and slider.php. And then, like I said, with the keywords array, so I'm adding slider, gallery, and carousel to facilitate people finding things. And then down here at the bottom, this is the part that's like the extra part where we're enqueuing various JavaScript and CSS. I'm using Slick Slider. You could use kind of any slider that you want. You just need to know how to include it, right? And so, yeah, that's what that's doing. Oh, so and then this is focusing on those keywords that I just talked about. And then this slide is focusing on the enqueued assets that I also just talked about. And so here, these are the 2 fields that we want to set up in advanced custom fields on the back end. And so here I just have, it's called slider gallery, and it's type gallery, which is just a built-in ACF type. Oh, I should know. I should have led with this. This is using the paid version of Advanced Custom Fields. I mean, you should pay for it because it's fantastic. And then I have an option, like kind of like a toggle to say open the slide in a lightbox, yes or no. And then we say show this field group if the block is equal to slider. And then this is what it looks like in the back end, where it's giving you a gallery of photos to look at. And then this is what it looks like in the front end, where it's just the one photo with the arrows on the left and right and the little pagination on the bottom. And that's actually it. I flew through this. I'm sorry. But these are the references that I used for this talk. Like I said, the code and the presentation are here on GitHub. It's github.com/foopy3. Thank you. And do you have any questions? Yeah. And if you have any questions that you don't want to just yell out, you can walk. It's fine. It's fine. I heard you. You can walk up to the microphone, and you can ask me. Otherwise, thank you, and thank you for coming to the entire thing because this was. I will say it again. This was fantastic, and I say that not just as a speaker, as an organizer. Yes. That's a great question. I do not have an answer for that because when I made this presentation, full site editing wasn't a thing. I would assume though that it would work because like they're moving towards blocks in everything, right? Where like a block is like you're saying the header. I know eventually they want like the menu items to even be block based and stuff like that. So it should work. I'll try it and I'll let you know. So thank you.
Thank you. I think you did a great job. I know you had to step in last minute to fill in, and it was a great presentation. Ooh, that is so loud. I am working currently with, I'm embarrassed to say, Classic Editor on a bunch of sites. Is there any flow that you would recommend or any tools that you would recommend to switch from Classic Editor to Gutenberg blocks?
I mean, when you switch to Gutenberg, it does embed all of that Classic Editor content in a Classic Editor block. So, like, it should be okay. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of, if you want to, you can take that, you can redo that data. Just take it out and put it above that block, and then delete the Classic Editor block. That's usually what I do. So it should. I don't want to say it should just work. I mean, the reason you're still in Classic Editor is because Gutenberg kind of had a reputation, but I feel like it's progressed past that at this point. Someone else might be able to answer that as well, like Jason or Mike. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the reason you might be hesitant to change is because it used to not be good. and now it is. And now it's better. I'm not going to say it's good, but it's much better where it is now. Thank you. Thank you. I also wanted to say, this is the first time I have talked at a WordCamp. And that's not why I'm saying it, but thank you. But seriously, like if you want to talk, you submit a talk, and if you get picked, you get to be up here. And like the nice thing about WordCamps and meetups and stuff like that is like we want to have new speakers. We want to have diversity and whatnot, you know. So, so if I literally if I can do it, like any one of you can do it. So, it worked out. Anybody else? No? All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.